Hey y'all, it's your girl Joy. Welcome to my channel. Just starting out my new channel today. Just want to welcome you all. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Any questions you have, I'm more than happy to answer them. I'm a 40-year-old transgender woman. Currently currently on HRT for just under a year. I would say it's about 8 months I've been on HRT. I've been on spironolactone. I'm on spironolactone 75 milligrams daily, and I'm on the estradiol patch. I have 3 patches of 1 milligram patches twice a week. I currently going through transition. Currently scheduling my gender reassignment surgery. Hopefully later this year. I have my consult in August in Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City with Dr. Bella Avanesian. She's a very kind and good-hearted doctor, very knowledgeable and experienced. She was one of the first, I guess, colleagues or fellows introduced to the program, along with Dr. Jess Ting. He's one of the surgeons that have done such as like Jazz Jennings surgery, and I'm happy to be able to get the surgery from that team. Please pardon my speech or the way I speak. I'm still like learning to like. I don't mind speaking in public or in platforms, but sometimes I mumble and you know get my words all mixed up. But please, I apologize, and I will get improved on that. But I just wanted to be able to share my experiences through everything that I'm going through that maybe help someone like you understand and the processes or to overcome the anxieties or worries that come along with it. Because definitely I felt that I wanted to transition probably as young as 5. Back when I was 5, it was 1986. There was no talk about transition. I barely knew what being gay was. So granted, I mean, I had a couple of family members that had been gay, and we knew a couple like people in the community that have been gay. It's just the general stigma that people talk about. They don't really promote. Definitely wasn't really promoted in my close quarters of the 6 of us in our house. Wasn't really talked about, and if my dad did talk about it, he usually joked about it or made fun of it. But he never really like put it down. But I would, he never was like really for it. I always noticed stuff like that. But I mean, as far as when I was younger, I didn't know what gay was. I didn't even know, it wasn't so much going through my head. I do remember the early years of being young and being, I think I was about 5 years old, and I remember that it was an Easter, and my sister had gotten a dress. My younger sister, but the older sister of the 4 of us. There's 2 boys and 2 girls, an older brother, and then I had 2 younger sisters, and one of the sisters that was actually closest to my age, and I remember her getting a dress on Easter, and me and my brother had gotten suits, and I remember envying my sister and my other younger sister of being able to wear dresses. And that's kind of like where I was first introduced to the idea of like, why do I envy them wearing dresses? And I just felt out of place. I didn't know the difference between body parts. I always thought that, that's what I supposed to have, until I realized that, I had it, and that's not what girls have. I mean, when I was younger, my sister, I played with like different toys. I mean, I play with boys' toys and girls' toys, and I tend to have liked the girls' toys more. But it wasn't even so much that because I remember being like 10 and 11, and I used to get into like the little Matchbox cars that they used to sell. I think it was like $1.50 each, and my dad used to reward me once a week with one on payday, and he would have me meet him up at the train station and buy me one, and I did like that. But I remember just later on, as the years progressed, as I got older, there was I mean quite a few Halloweens that I had dressed in girls' clothes, and without me saying like or that I wanted to, I kind of like oh, I kind of like hinted like oh, like I could always be a girl for Halloween, but like I didn't want to like project like oh, that's what I want to be. I didn't want like give off like vibes like oh yeah, that's because I didn't want to. I was afraid of being judged and stigma and afraid that people would really find out how I really felt. So I kind of just held it in. But I mean, there was a few Halloweens that like me and my cousin Lewis, we dressed up as female, and or we would go to our cousin's house and let which were female, and like do us up in makeup and stuff, and you know I enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed that. I felt like it made me feel part of like one of the girls. But as time progressed, later on, my teenage years, I grew up, and later on when I was 19 years old, I actually was experiencing symptoms of not feeling well, pressure in my chest, a swollen gland in my neck. Come to find out, I ended up having leukemia. I went to a local hospital, and we talked, and I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and I've gone through an extensive um, treatments with that, but I'll cover that in a separate topic in a separate video on that experience. You know, Fast forward, 4 or 5 years, I'm back to work, I'm doing stuff, and it's I started a job. I was working about almost a decade, working for you know a local town that I live in, and I went to Florida briefly about 2 weeks. I think it was about 2 weeks we went, and I was very fatigued, and it was one of my first times being on a plane. I was very fatigued when I got to Florida, and tired, and very like not motivated to do much. And I got back to New York, and on a Sunday, I went back to work on a Monday, and I wasn't feeling well. I was barely moving. I wanted the day to be over with. It was hard for me to do anything. I struggled to do anything, and I made an appointment with my doctor. And once I made my appointment with the doctor, I found out I was not doing well. I needed to go to the heart center to get an echocardiogram, and I ended up being in heart failure. Transferred to New York, Columbia. I'll get into that also in another topic, another story. I just want to basically give you a brief um, introduction of who I am, and the things I want to present on my channel, and hopefully you guys can be interested in stuff, and you can maybe comment and tell me what you like to see, or different topics that you would like me to cover, even deeper into those issues. Because especially with the heart transplant, I end up getting a heart transplant. I end up getting on the list. I end up going to a heart pump. Long story short, and stay tuned, and you could find out. With the heart transplant, and come to find out, there's more to come with the heart, and more to come with that story. But I will cover that in another topic, in another video. And then I've been on anti-rejection meds for just over 4 years, and I finally moved out on my own, had my own apartment instead of being a roommate in someone's apartment, or you know, you know living in a room with my sister or my parents. I kind of was like basically like forced out to go flap my own wings, so to say, and you know, put on my big girl panties, and that's what I did. And I found an apartment. I saved up enough money. Found an apartment um, out in Wallkill, New York. It's about an hour and a half north of New York City, and it's a cute little apartment, 1 bedroom, and just been living here. And while I was here, I was probably here a good, I would say, 4 months or so, and then I just decided, I'm trying to explore it with, my strong feelings that I've always felt were there, and I was like, now's the time to express myself and start being me, and so slowly I started, buying female clothes, and I had plenty of closet space, so I was able to store them in my closet, and I was able to decorate the house the way I wanted to. I love to decorate. I love to do different things as far as decorating. So that's also a possibility of things to come um, on decorating on videos. If you're willing to want to see something like that, or have any interest in it, just shoot me a text or comment what you'd like to see, and I'll shoot you back. Also, so long story short, I started expressing myself. I start dressing. I'm in therapy. I express to my therapist everything I've always felt, and we're talking, and I'm feeling more comfortable and going out more dressed, and realizing that it's so natural and so comfortable. Started accumulating makeup, so to speak, so learning different makeups, watching tutorials, and really coming into myself, really realizing who I am, and being able to express that without any fear of huge judgment, or rejection. Because what's the worst that can happen? Someone stopped talking to me, because now I live on my own, so I don't really depend on being in someone's household and being kicked out, or so to speak. So I started, I was talking to my doctor more, and talking to my therapist, and telling her how I felt, and decided that I was going to go move forward with um, talking about going on HRT, it's hormone replacement therapy. So I started talking to my doctor earlier in the year, and I think it was like sometime earlier last year of 2021, I believe it was. I think it was like January or February. I went to my heart transplant doctor, and I expressed myself to the team, and usually I go through everything, talking to them about everything I'm going through, what I'm allowed to take, what I'm not allowed to take. I pretty much stay obedient to what my doctors tell me. They present the risks and the benefits of different treatments. If they're not sure, they do express that. So I'm definitely aware. I definitely do my research in every area of what I'm allowed to do. Being that I'm immune compromised, immune suppressed, I did find out that being on hormone replacement therapy, being that it helps the tissues grow in like the breast area and such, there's a possibility of potential, and me also having cancer in the past, and my immune system being suppressed, it also allows my body to produce possibility of cancer cells. So of course I have to monitor my body. I have to get proper checks, and proper scans and more frequent follow-ups with my doctors. So I definitely was like, at that point, I was like, I'm sick and tired of living as a man. I can't. I gotta express myself. And at that point, I was like, you know, I don't care if the risks were it was gonna kill me. That at least I know that I was able to live authentically in who I always felt instead of always hiding it. I always had anxiety and stress that, I wasn't allowed to do what I wanted to do. And I just felt that restriction all the time that, you know, I wasn't going to be liked. I wasn't going to be loved. And believe me when I tell you, um, I was definitely shut down by a lot of people. Yes, it hurt in the beginning. Just especially a lot of people from the church, they stopped talking to me. They like basically like vanished in the background. They didn't even say much. Basically, I'll just share quickly. Last year, while I was going through treatment. Well, actually, I got diagnosed with earlier before I started hormone therapy in 2020. In October of 2020, I was diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma in my left kidney. It was in the lower left lobe, um, and I was definitely struggling with that. And I was heavily into church, and I was in a non-denominational Christian church, and I gave a small little testimony that I'm going in to have surgery, and that I would be in the hospital pretty much overnight, and then it would release me, and I'd be home recovering. And I really didn't have many people to help me, so I mentioned I would be home, and I'd be in the hospital, and I'm having a surgery and whatnot, and please pray for me. Pretty much after that, nobody called me the day of surgery. Nobody called me when I got out of surgery. It was like 3 days later that the senior pastor had called me, and I was actually out at the store because I had nobody to go get me food. So I was out at Target, shopping for some items, and we were talking at my. I was talking, and my pastor was like, at that time, he addressed me by my dead name, and which that's who I was at that time. And he was like, "Hey, what's going on? How's everything?" And he's like, "I got a favor to ask you." And because he used to always like give me like side work and stuff, because he knew I was always struggling with money, and try to give me extra money. But right after the surgery, no phone call, no nothing, no checking on me, no seeing if I need anything from nobody in the church. And I mean, like, everybody knew, because they've been there for me a million other times, and I don't discount that. And I appreciate it and love and respect all the stuff that I've done. But at this point, my parents had moved to Florida earlier that year, and I really had nobody to really be there for me. And so I didn't even get a phone call. So I was like a little, I was on, I was feeling down on myself, and I was like, they don't care about me, they don't love me, the typical crap, that we all go through, regardless if it's true or not. But I just didn't hear from nobody, so it was hard for me. So I just dealt with it. And he called me, and he's like, "Hey, I got a question for you. Can you do a job for me?" And I'm like, "Pastor, I just got out of the hospital. I'm actually shopping because I needed some food and blah blah blah." And I didn't have no. "Oh, yeah, how'd that go?" He goes. I'm like it was nothing. Like, "Oh, how'd that go?" I was just, I literally had a partial nephrectomy, which was my whole lower half of my kidney was removed. I was in a dire pain, but I'm not one that complain about pain. Um, between everything I've been through, I learned to cope with things like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm in pain and everything. He's like, yeah, da, 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 da. So, I wasn't, I didn't, of course I didn't end up going to church later that week. Um, and still no phone call, no nothing. I didn't hear from nobody. And that basically set the stage for like realizing like, you know, it's one thing to, I'm not saying like I needed to be prioritized in as far as like what's going on, but as close as I was with those individuals, nobody called me and really like was really like there for me at that moment in that situation. Um, Other situations, yes, they were, but were highly difficult, and that was that. And so I don't want and so I've gone through a transition, and I've been in transition. I started transitioning probably in February of 2021, and full time. I went full guns blazing. Totally purged everything that I had. And then I started coming out to people slowly. And some people took a shock. Some people don't even talk to me no more. Some people didn't even respond to what I had said to them. Other people had accepted it, but were had trouble and blah blah blah. Long story short, the ones that really mattered in the long run are the ones that are still there today. I've definitely learned to make new friends and whatnot, and but I would like to share more with you on my journey. I just wanted to make a quick introductory video of who I am and what I'm going through. I'm in the process later this year, to change my name. I'm in the process of doing a bankruptcy. I have a consultation later this summer with Dr. Bella Avanesian from Mount Sinai Hospital, and looking forward to that. Looking forward to meeting her and meeting the team, and focusing on doing surgery. I definitely would like to share more about that. Little tidbits. I could do a little video regarding my surgery when I had when I had leukemia when I was earlier in the years. If you'd like to see that, give me a shout. If I get enough requests, I'll share that story with you. I also I was diagnosed, when I was diagnosed with heart failure, I was put on an LVAD for a year and a half. That's a left ventricle assist device, pumping my heart, wire on my chest, batteries on the sides, motor, until it was a bridge to transplant, for heart transplant. There's just so much in my life I like to share, but one video at a time, I could be able to do that with you guys. I just appreciate you, joining me today and taking the time out to watch. I'm definitely looking to build my following and building to help one another in your journey, no matter what it's going through. I'm definitely in the process of writing a book, sharing more experiences with that. So please remember to like, subscribe, and comment on my videos. And tell me what you'd like to see. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up notification down there below, and shoot me a comment. Say hello. Introduce yourself. It all helps me to get where I need to be, and in the process, I want to help you. So please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you in the next video.